to be able to say calmly that I'm going through something, and not to necessarily feel the need to make up a story or to give the story. And to go with it, then yeah, I will do that. Because like I said, I'm human. I'm part of this construction or whatnot. And sure, I have the viewpoint of what I view. And at the same time, I feel that I'm a passer-througher of this time. My construct of death is my soul is ready to sever the link from this body, to move on to another body or another existence. Not saying it isn't there right now. It's just, I'm here at this moment in this body, and as the whole death thing would go, that one day I won't wake up in this body again, because my soul is ready to move on to learn something else. And so from that construct, I'm a passer-througher. I am just here to experience life, not necessarily to remember or to learn anything. Just to remember who I am, so that I am more able to present what life can be like. In the same retrospect, I have this realization and theory of, well, God has asked, and I have answered to be somebody that experiences life. And so through me, God can understand experience. If you, from their standpoints of, at this moment, I am a view window, and God is viewing the world through my eyes, because of all these scenarios and things that come together that create an experience, create an understanding. As if God is doing an experiment and has variables and independence and dependence. Because in science, you have dependence and independence. A dependent would be dependent. The plant doesn't grow without light, so the plant's dependent on the light. An independent would be the light is just going to keep going on. The light doesn't need the plant to be light. So it's like, pretty much that's kind of how I see things. And so there's a point where you can be too human, and then there's a point where you can be not enough human. To where there's a point where it's great being human, because you could be simply human. All you gotta do is simply be your human. That's all you gotta do. And yet sometimes that, to me, it gets me when I have to fill out all this paperwork. So from the construct of taking the time, my energy, this resource of a paper, which potentially is an unnecessary resource to be using, this pen, this ink, which all can kind of come down to being an unnecessary resource. When you look at it from the standpoint of, I didn't necessarily have to retell this institution, because in a sense it's reconfirming what my life is. And there's a point about not denying things, and then there's a point of reaffirming them and focusing on them. So every time I fill out this paperwork, I'm reaffirming what I believe, what my focus is, what I'm focusing on. And so by filling out this paperwork over and over and over again, because of somebody else's construct of an idea, I am doing something they want me to do, in a sense of constructing myself into this role of somebody else's constructing of what they think I should be. At the same time, there's this whole thing of Big Brother and stuff like that. Honestly, I think there should be this thing, it's like a DG, a digital person, and your doctor's DG, your doctor asks its DG to ask your DG to ask you, can that doctor or slash assistant can that DG get, with the assistance of the doctor, get to your files? So all of your files are already known, and you don't have to keep repeating it. So now you can just go into the doctor's office and say, this is how I feel. Oh, I see you have all this, okay. Instead of having it where that doctor has to take all that time to sit down with you and da-da. I mean, there's a point where you want to create that doctor-patient relationship, that trust. And, well, that would just make it to where that doctor doesn't have to ask you all those questions over and over again. The doctor can, and you can actually get to know the doctor. And that doctor can say, oh, this is what I see. I'm hearing you. I guess that would also mean that they would have to go off of be able to recognize that it's not just a physical need, that there's an emotional need to everything. In a sense, I can see how that would combine therapist, the doctor of the mind, to the therapist, or the doctor of a body, a physician, together, and they would create a practice.